Adversity, bring it. The struggle, we welcome it. Snooze on life, never that. We are Dave Regina and Mike Pirelli, and this is the No Snooze Podcast. Come on. Welcome back, No Snooze Podcast, episode 117.
Sorry.
I'm in the booth.
My bad.
With the big three, the best three, the only three. Michael, the show, Pirelli, Claudio, the voice, Valenzuela, and I am Dave, the body, with apparently a lot of wisdom because I got all these grays in my beard, Regina.
Yeah.
Michael Pirelli, how are you, my brother?
It's good to see you. I miss you, David.
I miss you.
I miss Claudio a little more, but I did miss you.
You did?
Yeah. I was kind of afraid to report back, and I'm afraid to text Ambrosio because I literally fell off a cliff.
Well,
although I'm running. I am running.
Yeah, you're running at a turtle pace.
I'm cruising.
Yeah.
Did you see that 31 minutes?
The turtle,
for a 5K?
the turtle is moving.
Absolutely flying.
But no, I've seen that you haven't been posting. Doesn't mean you're not working out. But I figured there's a lot of life things going on.
I have the best intentions to post. I'll tell everyone. Like last night, I was like, "Ooh, this will be a good one." Night owl post. Like I already know what I'm gonna post. I already know
little
what I'm
emoji
post.
owl.
And then by like 10:30, I'm just so beaten down that I'm like, I'm going to bed.
Yeah, no, man. There's a lot going on. Some time has passed, but what is on the agenda for you? I mean, I see a lot going on. Obviously, now with two kids and a lot of chaos, right?
Yeah, I've taken on too much once again. But we're getting through it. Me and Dana are working well as a unit. It is chaos, I have to say. I don't know why every time people warn me, I'm like, okay, it can't be that bad. And then you get into it and you're like, holy hell, this is wild.
I had a conversation with somebody and they had said that 2 is so much harder than 3.
I don't know.
I don't know why. I mean, I don't know.
How's that possible?
And then I even asked my mom and she was like, yeah, like actually she's like 3 was fine.
I think you're just so beaten down and confused that you don't remember how hard it is, you know? I've heard that before too. But the non-stop action has been interesting. Livy's at a ripe age where she's go.
Yep.
The hardest part for us is getting them down at night because it's like a ping pong effect.
Yeah.
And Livy's smart enough now and she's more with it that she can request who she wants. So it's Dad's going to start, and then we're going to kick Dad out and get Mom in here.
yeah.
2:30, we'll call Dad in to, pinch hit, and then Mom will be called at 3:30. It's like, and we're like high-fiving as we pass each other. I'm like, you're up, and you're just like, I wake up every morning like there's a fire in the house. I'm like, where's the baby? But it's great. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, and everyone's like, enjoy it. You're going to love this. I am not a fan of the baby stage. I'm not. Because this baby, I mean, Juliana, I love you, but you're just dead weight. So I'm like...
You can't do nothing,
you have
right?
To do
you can't...
so much. The only thing that's getting a workout is my left bicep.
Yeah.
It's the only thing. Like cooking, you can do it. And then these straps, like tactical baby gear, I need a class to work that thing. I was struggling the other night.
It's been
there's
2
a
years,
million
man.
buckles on it. I'm like, and when you have no sleep,
that's
you don't
the
know
tactical
what's what.
part, Michael. Is you got a lot of
Shout out
contraptions.
Tactical Baby Gear, though. They've been helping me get through
That's
this.
right.
But to answer your question, we talk about all the time how to like get through things, and I'm not that I'm getting through it or we're getting through it, but me and Dana are very like day to day, week to week basis. We're not overthinking it. We're like, all right, what's tomorrow? What do we got? How do we survive? We've been looking on a very short timeline.
Yeah. Well, sometimes that's the only way to do it.
And shout out Dana's been crushing it, which I'm not surprised, but she kind of has taken things in stride a little more than me. I've been way more wound up and stressed this time around for some reason, and I can't figure it out. But
well, I'm rooting for you guys.
Yeah, I'm rooting for me too. Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've been seeing the park that I've been posting.
Sick, by the way.
Yeah. But it's actually pretty cool because it's local in the town, and the committee that I'm on actually assisted to get the grant funding and assisted with the design and the implementation of this park. So now I feel like,
I mean, I want like a little plaque up there with my name on it, just as a contributor, But it was funny seeing the designs and all this stuff kind of come to fruition to now being able to have Cali enjoy it. And they got football fields, baseball fields, handball, pickleball. CV, we got to go play pickleball. It's some of the best pickleball in the county. Yeah, they put like 4 courts in, donated by Club Fit. Shout out Club Fit.
Unbelievable promotion right here.
Yeah.
This is, guys, take notes. This is how you integrate stuff.
No, I'm serious, man, because a lot of people have been asking me, where is this park? What is it? But it is Town of Yorktown.
Right. Disneyland.
Granite Knolls. But it was cool. It was personal to me because the Friends board that I'm on that commission. And yeah, we've been working. So it's cool to finally be able to, I guess, reap the benefits of what you work for.
That's tremendous.
But yeah, it's I've been trying to just take advantage of getting outside, keeping Cali active. I do feel that kids these days, like, it's always, even as parents, how easy it is to try to shove a screen in front of them. Here's a phone. No, I know. Yeah. Sometimes, and like in Karina's car, Callie is able to, work with the iPad and watch that stuff. In my car, we don't do that. Like, and I'm not saying it's a comparison, but I'm just trying to.
But I'll compare.
I'm trying to level the playing field,
Yeah, you're trying
and she just loves being outside. So I'm like even if I'm tired, like, F it, we're outside.
You're a better man than me.
No,
I've been throwing on all the junk TV in the morning just to get.
Well, don't get it twisted. She's still in love with her Blippi or Coco Melon and all that. I got her into Barbie. Barbie, by the way.
Big Barbie.
Oh, there's this one dolphin episode. Oh, it's incredible. You got to check it out.
So
I swear.
On that note, we watched the movie Pirates.
Yeah.
I know you're not a movie guy.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's
Pirates of the Caribbean.
You know what claymation is?
Claymation?
Yeah, where they're like.
No.
That's
clay
a
figure.
Perfect example.
What is
they
that?
do this. They literally move the clay. Stop motion. That's it.
Oh. Put your mic on, CB. Put the voice on.
This movie Pirates, tremendous.
It's stop motion.
Stop motion.
The guy's basically trying to win Pirate of the Year is the whole thing in the movie. And I'm like, Dean, are you watching this? This is incredible.
This is great.
Like, I really enjoyed
Good content.
it. And it was so outlandish that I'm like, this is tremendous. Like, they have an award show for the best Pirate of the Year.
Yeah.
And the way you win is you get the most booty. It's hilarious. Like, there's
funny.
So many, like,
innuendos.
Innuendos. This guy's my guy. You're my
innuendos.
You're my second half.
Right.
So
every Disney movie has a million adult innuendos, which is why they're so popular, not only with kids but also with adults. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yes.
For the non-movie people,
they do
check
that.
it out.
Yeah,
Pixar started it, I think. About the plaque. So I think about it all the time, and I've been leaning more into some guerrilla marketing. So I think my theory is if you just put things places and they look like they go, no one's going to check.
Right? That's
right?
True.
So I
donated by
like
by the swing set.
Yeah, dude.
Donated by Dave Regina No Snooze Podcast.
There's no if you make it somewhat presentable. I think about this all the time.
Just drop a rock.
There was a guy on TikTok that used to go in and put a picture. You know how they have the stock photos in some restaurants of guys eating pasta?
Yep.
He and a buddy would take the photo and they'd switch out the photo
and
see how long it lasts.
Yeah, that's funny.
Because there's so much going on, and if it's there, you're like, no one in the right mind would bring a photo in.
Right, but God forbid the person, I guess, who controls that sees that we did that.
My fun fact is I used to go to people's houses and I used to take a photo of them, like a really romantic one, and then put it on my shelf. So when they came to your house, you'd have all these photos.
That's good.
How did you get this photo?
I was missing a couple.
No,
photos
we got I think we did you. I think we did Phil's. We did you. I think we did Matt.
This is great.
Maybe Tierno.
We had wondering why we were up there. Yeah,
we might have lost.
There's this beautiful picture of Callie and I on their dresser.
We might have lost them when we moved. By the way,
that is too funny. Oh my god. Business. How's business? I see. I love the.
It's been wild.
No, you're raising a lot of money. That's.
I made the loving it. Sliced timber. As well as promoting for this race for a good cause.
Yep.
Terrible combo. Very difficult. Very difficult. And I don't want to let either down.
Yeah.
So, the amount of pizza I've consumed this month is sickening. I've somewhat kept a pretty good figure.
You look
I
good.
fit in my clothes. Nothing's crazy. I'm not as peeled as I was in the past, but I know that October I'm going to snap back.
You do look good, though.
Thank you. Running has been my savior.
But I mean, this marathon. I know
it's a
marathon.
Sunday.
It's a
Sunday.
What is it?
5K.
I'm preparing for the marathon.
Well, decathlon.
Whatever this is, I know it's a
3.1
race,
miles.
but you're not really trying to win.
No.
So as long as you can run for the 3
turtles.
miles,
My goal. No, I'm going to finish it.
So
I was.
You can eat as
surprised
much pizza as you want.
Yeah, my thought was I was going to try to promote both and eat a pizza while I ran it.
Oh my!
But
god.
I'm not that in tune with myself. So it's 3.1 miles. I'm actually surprised I've been able to run that much, but it's because I'm, 30 pounds less.
Right.
So, and I'm a little stronger. My legs are a little stronger. So I've been running on the treadmill because it's easy, because you can do it quick and then go upstairs and change. But I've really enjoyed running through neighborhoods and like looking at houses, because here's a fun fact or a cheat code. If you're looking at a property, I like to walk the area, because you see little things that if you're driving or if you're like, seeing one house, you're not looking at the area well. You see all these nuances of like, oh, this neighbor keeps a bad backyard. Like there may be a problem neighbor. This person keeps a really nice front lawn. Like there's all these little details. You see a neighbor looking in the window at you and you're like, oh, so there's people that are here during the day. So it's been fun, because there was a couple of properties I had a preview and I'm like, all right, shit, I have no time. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to run to the property. It was a commercial property, and I'm going to walk it and then preview it and then see if I'll set up an appointment. So the goal for the run was to finish my run under 35 minutes, but then also see the property, make the appointment.
Gotcha.
So I like integrated it, and it was fun. It was hard because
cool.
I was dying, and I was trying to like, well, that's nice. That's
Have you kind of timed your runs? Like, what are you doing a mile in? Do you know?
I'm at like a 10-minute pace.
Oh, that's not bad.
Like because I am running up hills and whatnot. Like I ran through, Byram, right? I ran from my house into Byram.
Byram's pretty hilly.
Byram,
it can be hilly.
And I ran up a couple big hills and I did 31 minutes. So my thought, we're at Todd's Point this Sunday. It's flat as can be. And it's like the vibe there is a lot more like positive and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be, I'm going to try to break 30. That's my goal, But we have both kids coming. I was gonna push one of them.
You should. I was gonna say you should push. So God forbid you don't make it or you pull something.
You can
could
blame.
Just be like, yeah.
I thought about this.
Yeah. I was pushing 2 babies. Come on, what are you doing?
So that's been good. The Golden Knights Foundation, my guy Greg, I got linked in with him because of the Weston thing in the past where we did the socks. And I was fired up on caffeine. So I'm like, yeah, dude, plenty of time. Just had a kid.
And then
it's gonna be easy. And it's been a grind. Like 10:30 night. Like I gotta get this post up to promote. But the concept we put together was a lot of fun in the first year we've done it. It's basically, he was thinking of, and you guys can steal this idea for like any personal stuff. He was like, all right, what if we get gift cards and we raffle off gift cards? I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But like, I don't know if I'd be excited to win one gift card. I'm like, what if we get all these gift cards and give them to one person?
Yeah.
And
well, it depends if that gift card is $100 or $200.
I know, but here's
$20. You're like, oh.
Let me ask you this: would you rather win a gift card for $200 or $1,500 worth of 25 gift cards?
Yeah, that's cool.
Like it's mind blowing amount where you're like, oh, I'll donate 10 to enter.
Yeah, of course.
So the concept was there, and the execution has been decent. I would like to do it again next year with I'm not doing sliced timber again because I might die.
I don't know. You and Callie both, man. You guys consume a lot.
She hammers pizza. She's celebrating 4 times.
Wait, is it that bad?
No, it's hard, dude. It's a lot.
Was it one slice every day for the whole month of September?
It's the new kid, Juliana, not sleeping, having to eat pizza, trying to work out for a marathon. Everything's working against each other.
But I mean, is it one slice? Is it one slice per day? Or are you having like a whole pie per day?
Oh no, we're doing sessions. So like today,
I still think I could do a whole pie per day, but
yeah.
You could do a pie per day?
No, you
can't.
I think so.
I think you could.
I think so.
A pie per day for how long?
It depends what kind of pizza. The pizza's very light.
Like 30 days straight?
I think so.
I'll make that bet.
It's a good challenge.
I'll make that bet.
I like these challenges.
You cannot do that.
When it comes to fitness, you're gonna win every time. When it comes to eating,
I don't know,
my man.
But how long are you really talking? Every day you can consume a full pie.
But what kind of pizza? There's a lot of thin pizza.
Doesn't matter.
I mean, it doesn't. There's no time limit, right? I can eat it throughout the day. I'm pretty sure.
How many days?
I'm pretty sure I can eat
30 days.
I've been eating my turkey for like 8 months now.
I've been eating my
I've been doing it for 12 years, bro.
Bro, then there you go. I love pizza. I can definitely eat that for a month straight.
But a whole pie?
All right, time out.
One pie is not that much.
Oh,
it's
man.
Not. It's not. Certain places, like it's
David, have you never had a whole pie by yourself?
No.
That's not true. That's not true. You've done it in front of me.
He's full of shit.
I know he is.
He's full of shit.
Mike and
I'm going to start covering the microphone.
You know what I do?
He's done it with me, so I know.
You know what I do, though? I spread it out. I think I go like 3 off the top, maybe 4.
But that's fine though. I mean, that's
But for every day, I think it's the consistency of slamming pies.
I get it. Try it.
That's crazy. Yeah. You guys want me to get fat?
To answer your question, we've been doing sessions. We knock out 6 or 7 spots a day.
Wow.
But think about this, right? I go in there. They're like, "Oh, Mike's here. He's going to promote our stuff." They throw everything at me. So I'm eating arancini, mozzarella sticks, like wings. The amount of wings. It was Wingtober. I was hammering wings. By the way, Clydesdale Pub and Grill in Portchester has these boneless wings.
Clydesdale.
It's like this DL spot. This guy from that away's been moved.
What's the point of boneless though?
Oh, the point is you pop them like pills. Time out. So 6 to 7 a day. I have like 14 to 15 slices, maybe 16 plus apps a day.
Oh my!
I swear to God. And it's hot oil. It's sausage. It's mixed. Greek pizza. Like I had a Greek slice. Like random stuff. Stomach is like in knots. I don't know what's going on. Then, we have 22 slices in the books. So this week I got to sneak after this and get a pie at this food truck, Dough Girls, because they're not available when we're shooting other times. So like there's we're doing Domino's this week because Frisha's brothers was the first people ever, that little the buggy spot.
Yeah.
Frisha brothers, the garage that does
with the cars.
buggies.
Yeah.
They were the first ever delivery of a Domino's pizza. So we're going to do Domino's and shout them out.
That's awesome.
But there's these little one-offs.
Great
in
supporters
the
of the
week.
podcast.
Amazing supporters. She's big time. But long story short, it's been really hard. It's very hard, especially in the middle of all these like deals and work and like showing open houses, and then like, shit, I got to eat 4 pizzas later. Like, it's just this one thing. Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot.
Fun to watch.
This year I want to do less, but more. So like, instead of doing both of these things, just like knock one out of the park type of thing.
Right.
So that's going to be the like adjustment, but we'll see. I say that and I never do it.
Yeah.
I
no,
say
man.
yes to anything.
No, there's.
Have you liked September?
Yeah, it's awesome. I love it. I mean,
some are Some slices are See, I don't know if
taste that good.
I think we'd repeat some spots next year and just do like the bangers versus like there's restaurants that have pizza, but it's like I wouldn't send someone for the pizza.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
No, I mean we love pizza in my household. You know that.
Oh,
so
I know.
We crush it, but it's actually not that bad. If you're gonna get fast food, pizza is by far the best. And actually, Coach Scanlon. Coach Scanlon always promoted that.
To that point, think about it. I didn't think this through either. I mean, pizza all week, and then you go out to like someone's birthday or whatever. Guess what we were having?
Pizza. Oh yeah.
Right.
Well, that's my point.
And then
with
we have all these
you.
leftovers,
Like,
and then guess what I'm eating?
Pizza. And I'm like, life's a pizza. But I'm like, to CV, that's
life's
the point.
A piece of cake.
You're gonna get.
No, I hear you,
sick.
but
I think
number
you can
one,
do it.
Sick of
number
it.
one, I love pizza. That's
So
number
30
one.
days straight.
Number two,
you think you can eat 30 pies?
I've done
Like, subscribe.
not pizza, but I've done other foods every single
No
day.
wonder why you were 60
and,
pounds
and
overweight
not,
before.
not for nothing. One pie for the whole day. I mean, you can eat it for breakfast, you can eat it for lunch, you can eat it for dinner. You're only talking about 2 slices each or 2.5 each. So it's
I
not
wonder.
that bad.
Yeah, now that you say that, I mean, I have eaten 5 eggs for the past.
I think
15
I could do it.
years.
Because there's some pizzas like Greek Street Pizza is amazing, super light.
Yeah.
Greenwich Pizza.
And that's the other thing. I'm not going to go have a sausage pizza or a fully loaded.
Right,
I'm
you
going to have
just
like a plain
pie.
Some of
Yeah,
that
it's
stuff
not,
you eat and you're like, did I eat that already?
Yeah,
Like
that's-
Colony.
Throw a
I
little
could have-
salad, a little lettuce on top of it. You know.
Have you had
protein
Colony
powder.
pizza or Rico's?
Colony, yeah,
similar.
yeah.
What do you think?
It's good.
How many?
Yeah.
How many full pies could you put down?
I don't think I'm doing full pies, bro.
Dude, they're small. They're like this.
Yeah, but not personal pies. I'm talking
They're
about
not
extra
personal.
large pies, like a pie.
Not extra large. Extra large is your personal pie. We're talking about-
You know what I mean?
Like
Like,
a
the
standard
pies.
16-inch.
Yeah, like 8 slices.
What's your typical pie? 16? When they bring out a pie and it's like that, I'm like, that's not a pie.
That's disrespectful. Yeah, that's
That's
a
a
personal
slice.
pan pizza.
It's a slice.
That's personal pizza.
Okay.
No. I'm ordering, like, I mean, if we order to the house, I'm getting extra large pies.
Glenville Pizza has, I mean, I got to shout out my guy, Frankie. He brought in some new slices and was on me to come try them. And I'm like, they can't be that good. Like, you're
Fire.
a great promoter. Pretty good.
Wow. I gotta check
Their
it out.
vodka slice really put me over the edge.
I got to check it out.
That day, at Glenville Pizza,
Yeah.
after all our other shoots, I think I put down 15 slices there.
Wow. That's a lot, dude. That's a showing.
I put on a show.
Yeah, for real.
And then I go home and I like cry.
Michael the Show
Yeah.
Pirelli.
I actually worked out that night.
Mike
too.
the Slice Pirelli.
But
Good.
anyway, it's
Enough
been,
pizza talk now.
Yeah, sorry, we're sidetracked.
Getting hungry.
Point being, though, you go from like eating perfect
Yeah,
and like it was fun for the first couple of weeks, and now I'm like, I want to get back to working out,
right.
but I can't work out because the baby. It's been so hard. I'm trying to work out in the middle of the day
How's your head?
mentally.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Not good.
I've been in a funk
when that happens to me too.
because I
but
can't work out.
I know.
Or it's not that I can't work out. We tried.
You-
Dan's done everything in her power, but
Just doesn't
I'm
work.
put with the decision. I'm like, all right, well, if I work out now, it's great, but then all this other stuff I got to get done. I
Yeah.
can't do it at night because as soon as Livy gets home, I can't get anything done from
Right,
like
so your window is crushed.
5 to 10.
Yeah, if I was married to Dana, I would absolutely lie if I were you. I would join a gym, say I have an appointment, and literally go to a showing. But
Well, here's
she
the-
didn't know that my showing is in the mirror
Yeah,
flexing
showing
it.
yourself.
Yeah, Equinox.
The problem is though, it's my business, so I'm like, I can't. I would love to
Right,
do that, and I
right.
have
Yeah,
done
yeah, I
that.
get-
So that's why I've just been prioritizing running because like I can get that in for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, but then you got to shower, you got to change back.
Yeah, it's a lot. Right.
So I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And not that I'm counting, but I've taken 12 days off this year.
The counting stresses me out.
No, I think I've built this
be nice
habit
to yourself.
I built
nice
this
to
habit
myself.
into my life to where it's the standard that I work out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
fair.
And I do have the ability to kind of work out either at work or in the morning or at night, regardless. But I make sure that I find the time. I need that though, you know.
So here's a tip. I want to know your thoughts on this. I tell myself, because this is a very extreme situation with all the stuff going on, like it's all about the narrative you tell yourself. If you tell yourself, I'm going off the rails, then you lean more into that. Versus I'm telling myself, this is a temporary situation in this extreme thing. I'm gonna snap back into it once I figure it out again.
Yes, I like that. I'd never tell myself that I'm not going.
I've done that in the past.
Yeah. I'm going off the rails. Does not sound good for me.
Because if you say I'm going off the rails, then you're like, well, those boneless chicken nuggets sound pretty good.
I told myself I was going to do it, so I am keeping my promise to myself.
Yeah. But I do need another air fryer.
How many days off?
12.
Ooh, I'm at 41. I've been counting.
You've been counting?
Yeah.
41.
Yeah.
I think that was how I finished last year, I think.
I had 2 bad weeks. The first week of the year, I got sick, and now when I was on vacation, half the vacation I didn't work out.
Yeah.
Because I got sick too, actually. That's why.
Yeah, I mean, but I've been casual, like after a colonoscopy workout real quick. There's been
he's got some elements.
I really did. I've been trying to, now it's to the point though, I kind of play with myself, you know. Well, that sounded weird, but I kind of mentally, I've always done this. I mentally screw myself.
The camera on you. Say it again, please.
Yeah, I mentally screw myself. I play with myself a little bit in terms of the story and the narrative that I give myself. I'm like, so what? I got a colonoscopy at 9 a.m. I could work out at 3 p.m. Why not? Doctors don't recommend it, but if I could do it, why not?
Just don't squat.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Why not though? I don't understand. Just don't squat.
I have to say, having the 2 kids, and not to harp on it, now in my head, I'm mentally thinking everyone thinks I'm going to slow down. Can't slow down.
Yeah.
So I'm creating a little more pressure than I think I should, but it's been good because then I'm not, when given the opportunity, I've just been pushing through.
Yep.
It's wild though. It's pretty wild.
Man.
We got to get a workout in once I'm back and going. Because
I've been hearing this for 2 years, Michael.
I got a gym at home. You can come by the house anytime, dude.
I need an invite. Level Fitness is waiting for Michael to show Pirelli to walk in.
Wait, how about we saw Uncle Dave at first off, I made Dana run in, which is hilarious, right? I'm like, yeah, Dana, run in there.
And mind you, I'm doing the shopping every week for my household.
So the background of this is that I get embarrassed sometimes because Dana, people help Dana bring things to the car when you don't really need help. It's literally a case of diapers. It's not heavy, right? But they feel bad. It's a woman by herself. Maybe she has a kid with her. And then they open the hatch, and I'm just sitting in this driver's seat, right?
Posting sliced timber.
Yeah. Like eating pizza.
Yeah.
So when she's like, oh, I had an escort drop me off at the car. I'm like, what the fuck? I got pissed. I didn't even turn around, right?
No, I didn't.
I was like, fucking Dana. Again, you got to make me look bad. And then I turn around, it's Dave. I'm like, oh, good.
I thought you were going to join me at Level Fitness that day. No.
I tried to, but we had somewhere to go.
Here's somewhere to go. Got to get out of there.
But I'm looking forward to when we get back in the gym, making the lower level nice. I'm going to get turf, paint everything, make it nice. We got lights finally. They're putting a space heater for the winter.
Nice.
I'm going to be big time.
I see you.
I'll get you a fob.
I need one.
24-hour
access.
You got to apply, though, to join. You got to bench a certain amount. You got to run a certain amount. You're running. I don't know.
I've been doing 20 minutes Stairmasters every day now.
Ooh, we don't have that there.
Tough.
So we don't have ceiling
the ceiling height. I got you.
Might cut a hole for you. Put your head in there.
So no, business, I mean, I think for all industries though, just in general, it's kind of it's getting back. Yeah. And I guess it is, you've heard the new normal or whatever, but for us it's exciting time because we been able to exceed our annual revenue and sales goal already, and we haven't even closed out the third quarter yet, which is fire. Because the past couple of years, right? And then it's funny because the budget for next year has no increases in salaries.
Gotta love it.
Yeah, there's no union contracts in place right now, so it's a weird time, but program participation and just the innovative stuff that the team is now coming up with is nice to see it all coming back around. I mean, we never stopped. We were more of an essential service, but it's just a good time to be in business. I have a question for you though, and that's why I got into business.
Yes, sir.
First time since I think 2008 that interest rates are above 6%, right?
Yes.
I'm getting a little itchy myself with a property, right? Even in a family investment type thing.
Itchy to buy a property?
Yeah, like I mean, my plan. I've been very transparent. I want to get a property every 5 to 7 years, paired with my pension, paired with the other retirement accounts that I have in place. But I want that. That's my goal. So this is now year 3. So I'm starting to look. But I've been reading a bunch of articles on just the real estate market. I'm curious to hear you, being Mike Pirelli, Greenwich Real Estate, what your thought is. First time since 2008, over 6%, which is not typically, from a historically, I guess a historical standpoint, that's not that high.
It's not. What do you know about seller financing? Do you know what that is?
I do.
Okay. Because you are very persuasive. You network well. I can see you being the type of running into the owner. They come out because they're alarmed that there's this big gorilla on their front lawn. So I think what I foresee is people getting more creative with how they buy properties, because people still are going to buy. And the financing, yes, you can go the traditional route, but if you want to combat that a little bit, I think people are going to use their life insurance for borrowing against to buy properties. Yep. They're going to use private money. They're going to use seller financing, where you get the seller to basically give you the mortgage, because then you can play with the interest rates and whatnot. We're in a bubble in Greenwich, so it's all very different. I foresee there's going to be opportunities. I think a lot of people, if you're going to buy, the markets that are the hottest are things that are move-in ready. We're getting a lot of people from the city still. We're getting a consistent wave of those people. And the opportunities I see are the ones where they need a little TLC. And what I've been trying to tell all my clients is, like, if you can get something that needs TLC, but you don't have to add a footprint, like you can work within what's already there, you're going to save a ton of money. And then in addition, if your timeline is 10 years, your chances of success and making money long-term is way higher.
Right.
There was a big so I don't know. Do you know who Grant Cardone is?
Yes.
Everyone does, because great.
Do you know who Michael Jordan is?
Wow. He just compared Grant Cardone to Michael Jordan.
In real estate? Who's bigger than him?
It's good.
Right? Think
nice.
about it.
Dave, nice.
You're supposed to say yourself. Mike Pirelli, Greenwich Real Estate, baby.
I might be delusional when it comes to my body, not with business. So he has an interesting take on properties. He goes for like the A of the A properties, and he doesn't really care what he buys it for. If he buys it for a premium, he cares about the financing, because that's where you really make the money.
And he loves doors.
So his approach is, all right, if I'm going to have it for 10, 15 years, I'll take a loss for 5 years, 6 years, but I'm going to get the premium properties that are going to appreciate, and I'm going to work the financing so that I can, have it. And in the future, in the 5 to 10 years, I'm going to be in a much better position. I'll take the long-term approach and give the sellers what they want, but then get my terms, which is interesting, because if the rates are 6, you could probably work down some sellers. But if a seller's not budging and it's a great property, then the conversation's like, hey, listen, I can give you the price, but for me to make this work at your number, I need this.
Right.
And it's a very nice approach, because you're like, oh, I'm getting my price. Because a lot of people are emotional and they get stuck on that number.
Right.
When you make the money in the financing, the deposit, the all the other details are what you should be focusing on. Yes, the purchase price, you never want to go crazy, but I'd much rather pay a premium for a premium property than a cheap property at a discount. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course. And even in the grand scheme of things, whether it's a 15-year or 30-year mortgage, I mean, $50,000, $100,000 is not the end of the world. But my only thing with Grant Cardone and those guys is, you're talking over a $500 million net worth, right? Like their portfolio is stupid. So their risk reward right now is much different than somebody that's kind of just getting their feet wet, or somebody like you and I. We have a couple properties just starting out.
But my argument for you is, like, you have great income, right? You have a solid job. You have other investments. So yes, you want to make some cash flow. You want to do well on the property, but the game's long term.
Right, long term, correct.
There's another investor, this guy, Matt Onofrio, who's amazing. He talks about he's worth $100 million or something. He's like 34, 32 maybe. And his whole thing is, like, real estate's the only place where you can pick your how much you're going to be worth in the future.
It's true.
Because if you buy something for $2 million and someone's paying it off, you're going to have $2 million in the future if you get paid off.
Course.
So he's like, it's really interesting that people play small because at the end of the day, if you can get yes, it's more risk because if you don't get a tenant, but if you can get it a place occupied, it doesn't matter if they're paying $4,000 or $10,000, they're paying it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the key is to get it occupied and buy stuff that's going to stay occupied, and you can take more of a risk, which is really interesting. So all these, I try to convey this to people. The biggest thing too, I tell people is like, for you have a family, daughter, you're very busy. So a lot of your evaluation of property is going to, how much time is it going to take to get it rented? Is it rented currently? How much work is it going to be?
Right.
A lot of people don't take into account how much time renovations cost.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, I'm like, all right, we did this 2 massive renovations. The next property we're getting, it's going to be I call it a marketing flip, where you have the property, you're a mom and pop, you've been renting it for $1,500 a month, but because I'm taking control of it and I know how to market it, I can get 25.
Right.
So I'm not putting in any, I'm putting in a skill versus like money to a renovation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you could paint and like
do little
it
things,
up.
right?
You could do the good. What's the place with all the cutesy stuff? Home goods.
Home goods. Yep.
You could do that type of
Stage
flip,
it, yeah.
right? But it's very
sounds like a Dave Regina-esque flip, not fixing anything.
well. That's I mean, ideally, it's just you see that's where you can make money, and your time to rent it out again is literally like a week.
Yep.
Right. So it's very. My whole mindset is completely shifted as far as like, I think I've said in the past, but the domino concept of every time a domino knocks another domino over, it could be double the size.
Mm-hmm.
I've really tried to take into and apply to real estate. So like, if you get a property at 500,000, the next property should be $1 million, then should be 2, then should be 4, because in theory, your skill sets should get you close enough where you can learn and bridge that gap.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're not super comfortable, but you know enough to bridge the gap.
Right.
And then the next one, it's all right, well, you got that property, you have a little more, cash flow, you should be able to jump to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if you're doing the same thing, your skill set isn't growing. Your portfolio is growing, but not exponentially. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. CV.
So to answer your question, full circle, I think now is a great time to look because we're pretty frothy still. I think the winter is my favorite time to buy properties because the mindset of people is I'm going to enjoy the holidays. There's snow on the ground. If sellers are on the market, they're motivated and they're freaking out a little bit because they're like, I have a property that's empty in the middle of winter and pipe breaks, the heat, all their expenses are really cutting away at them. So I've bought my properties, well, not the last one, but the first one like in March, and there was a foot of snow on the ground. And they're way more amenable and you can negotiate more if they're still around. So if I were you, I'd look like, you don't have to buy anything, but a good time to look is from, after Thanksgiving until about February.
Yeah, I don't know about that quick for me personally, but
no,
I was
but
just
you're
asking.
gonna look.
Yeah, no,
Even
of course. Well, I've already started looking. But just in general, I don't know. There's one opportunity I was telling you about is still on the table with it's a commercial building, but it's I guess it would be 6 doors.
I got to send you that guy. I got to send you the 2 guys I've been reading. There's one book called Invest in Debt, and it talks about how it's all about the financing, not so much the price.
Yeah,
and like your return on time and all that. That's great. And then this Matt Onofrio guy, watch his stuff because he's big on commercial real estate. I've said again is like there's so much more you can do as far as manipulating it versus residential, which I really like. So for you, who's not, it doesn't sound like you want tons of properties. Right. You need properties that are going to be very lucrative. Yeah. So like with one commercial deal, you can have a life-changing amount of income versus residential. Likely you're not going to have that.
Right. Good
so
point.
if I were you, I'd take a shot at the commercial and say, F it, because you're taking the risk either way.
Yep. Good point. Very good.
Is it 6 residential?
Yeah, and there's 1 storefront, so.
Oh, that's nice.
That's good.
Because residential is a little more, and then commercial's like, the time to rent out commercial is usually longer.
Yep.
So if you can get a good anchor or
you
something
get like a 10-year lease or something like that, a 15-year lease.
But if you have all the residential, you can offset it.
Very nice. Thank you. CV, let them know where we get this protein at.
We wanted to take a quick second to let you guys know that we partnered with our good friends over at Orgain.com. We're happy to offer our listeners 30% off by entering the code NoSnooze30. Again, that's NoSnooze30 for 30% off your first order. If you're on the market for a new protein powder, nutritional shake, protein bar, or Mike's favorite, collagen peptides, Orgain is your one-stop shop. As all of you know, my Crohn's disease is currently in remission, and the only protein I use is from Orgain. My personal favorites are the chocolate peanut butter and the vanilla bean. With the code, you can try a 2-pound tub for under $20. Talk about not snoozing. Go get yours today. Now, back to the epi.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed that little
Catch up
section on catch up, little real estate talk. But something that Mike and I think wanted to discuss today is the concept of betting on yourself, right? And this is a I don't know, the first thing that I think about in terms of what betting on yourself really means is developing the trust within yourself to be able to take a risk, to start a new endeavor, to basically put your foot down at a time where you can have multiple opportunities or you can see yourself doing multiple things, right? So whether that's staying at a 9-to-5 versus going on your own as an entrepreneur, whether that is starting, I think about my mom, right? She was at a point in her life where she took an opportunity and she bet on herself to never drink again, right? To be sober. That's one of the most incredible things that I lean on now as personal motivation for myself to look at. I look at my dad, right? This guy's 58 years old, literally just opened up his own farmer's agency.
He's 58. He looks
right?
good.
Yeah, it looks good, right?
Shout out Mike.
Shout out Big Mike.
Mike's age well, I guess.
But literally, Michael Regina Agency.
Yeah, I saw that.
How dope is that? I mean, this is a guy that used to work 4 different jobs just to try to put, happiness into his family. So seeing that is a direct reflection of being able to bet on yourself. So what are your thoughts when it comes to that?
I don't know if you feel this way, but I think control is like the biggest thing that I connect with it, because I always have conversations with people and they're like, I'm very comfortable where I am. Like, it's a little safer. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, whoa. Just because you're at a firm doesn't mean you're safe.
Ooh.
If anything, I would argue you're less safe because you have less control.
Ooh.
Right? I'm not saying go quit. Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying working for a company is not great, because you do have less to worry about. You have more of a specialty typically, so you can focus and do a better job.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when they are making cuts, just know it's business.
Correct.
Right? So that's my argument with everyone when they're like, oh, real estate must be tough. Like, it's all on you. Like, if you don't sell. I'm like, no, I'd rather be able to look at my family if they're hungry and be like, I can go out and change that.
Right.
Versus go and ask someone and be like, hey, can I get an advance on my salary?
Yeah.
Not to say that you can't, but.
Right. No, that was something that I was actually thinking about as well. Removing, because again, I kind of feel it in both worlds for me, right? Like, I've bet on myself multiple times financially. Like,
that's how you know if you got real stuff.
If people knew how much money that I was left with after my first investment, it would be disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, literally to the point, I had to convince, a couple family members even of like, is this a good move? Because I was living in a house that was an incentive through my job and basically took all of the savings that we were able to save over the course of 5 years and all of our wedding money into something that we weren't even going to live in. Like, that was pretty risky, right? So I remember that happening. But what you were saying is basically when you're betting on yourself, you're removing the illusion that I think we all create in our heads of job security. Right? Like, there's something to be said about going in, punching the clock 9-5, you
there's
get the
different ways
benefits,
to do
you get
it, right?
all that.
Like, you do a side hustle, like you can do things without quitting your job, but betting on yourself is investing in yourself.
Correct. But I think it opens your eyes more, because there's a lot of people in the world today that are just very I don't want to say focused, but they're almost taught like, yeah, you know what, just go get this good job and, punch a clock from this time to this time, which is great. But you're in a time frame now, whether you're listening to this in 2022 or you're checking this out 3 years down the line, technology and all that stuff is advancing. So it's great to have a good job, right? Like, CV and I are both products of that, but also it's a great time to bet on yourself.
And to your point, like, I take you guys as a good example. If you are within like a company, you guys have the skill sets where you are technically already betting on yourself, where if you were like, oh, you had a life change, you'd find another job. So like, you can still control your destiny within a company. You just have to invest in learning the skills that are applicable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're at a company and you're fixing cars and all the cars are turning electric, it's like your skill set's going to be a little tough to pitch to the next, so maybe you got to adjust. So I think about that, and the big thing for me with betting yourself is the control relieves stress in a weird way. Yes, it's more stressful because at the end of the day, win or lose, it's on you, but at least you had the opportunity.
Right.
So like with the stoicism thoughts, it's like focus on what you can control. If you can't control anything, then you're just stressed for versus if you can actually take actions for whatever goal you're going for, there's a relief of stress of like, listen, I gave a great effort. It didn't come to fruition, not because of lack of effort.
Right.
And if you could say that relieves a ton of stress for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. Something I can, I guess, speak about because it happened at a pretty important time in my life. But I had a lot of people in my industry, right, telling me not to jump out, because basically what I did, I was essentially the director of recreation, right? So I left a union job that would have eventually been a 6-figure job, but I would have been in the highest position that I could possibly be with having protection of a union. As soon as you become management and you step into the commissioner titles, you come out of that union completely, and you're no longer protected by what everybody sees as like, the benefits of public service. So I was 26 years old, and I literally had people in my ear like, why would you do this in a place that you haven't been for, I think I was there for a year and a half at that time. And my thought process was exactly what you were saying. I'm like, well, I have the skills, I believe, that would be able to pick me up off the floor if I did get fired. But it was a very risky thing. And I think looking back, I didn't realize that I was just betting on myself, right? Like that's all that was. And I think the biggest lesson from being able to do that is I think all of the standards in my life have raised drastically. I think too often our standards of not only ourselves, but our skill set are at a mediocre level. We don't realize the potential that we do have, right? So when I stepped into that role of assistant commissioner at 26, now looking forward, and at 32, I was able to secure a deputy commissioner position. It was proof for me that my standards needed to raise. So I needed to start acting a certain way in every aspect of my life, right? And that's why I take fitness so seriously. We spoke about that many times. Fitness not only keeps my mind right, but it's a standard that I have, right? So me saying to you that I've taken 12 days off this year, that's not a brag. It's the standard that I have. If I'm able and willing on that day, I want to show up for myself, because as soon as I do that, now I'm able to check that off my list. So I think for me, when I bet on myself, the biggest change that I've noticed is that my day-to-day standards, not only in business but professionally, they end up raising drastically, if that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense. That's like anytime my default, like you're saying, is like if you're contemplating whether to take something or bet on yourself and like gamble a little bit, my thought is like it's less risky to bet on yourself because you have the control, right? Mm-hmm. And it incentivizes you to bust your ass and make it work.
Correct.
And figure it out. And then once you end up figuring the first thing out, when you do, you don't have to do a major bet in the beginning, but maybe a little one. Then you figure it out, and then you get the confidence that you can figure it out, and that is worth its weight in gold, because as the bets get bigger, your confidence in your ability to figure it out and make it work gets higher, right? So the other thing I do is I work through kind of worst case scenario. If I do fail, I know you don't like the word. If you do fail, you just go back to something else. Like if you have the skill set, then you're never unemployable. Yes, it's going to be harder, but worst case scenario, it doesn't work out. You go broke, go get the job again, or whatever, do another thing. So I think we, in our heads, create all these like, nah, I can't do it because this, can't do that, where it's real, like just take the jump and figure it out. You got to figure it out. And it's okay to think through scenarios to protect yourself, but don't overwhelm yourself. Like you'll deal with it when you get to it.
Right.
There's a level of like, you're not going to know everything. That's okay. Most people don't know what the hell's going on day to day. People in the biggest positions ever are like, I'm just going to take it today and I'll figure it out later. I don't know where we're going. I just got to make a little progress towards it.
Right.
And then you adjust on the fly.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's for everyone.
No, of course not. I mean, I'm thinking of even people in my circle, right? We've heard the story of Mark Carter, who literally, bet on himself at 37 years old, going into the fire academy, leaving a state career that was a 6-figure job. And now he's at the best point of his life, has more freedom and financial stability over the course of this past 5 years because of what he did back then. Another person in my really close circle, don't want to say his name because I don't know if it's public yet, but he works for TikTok. So if you know who works for TikTok,
me too.
He does music licensing, right? He just left.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he just left and he went on his own. Which is a big move because you're basically leaving a company that is, I mean, thriving.
Rocket ship.
Literally, like, you're thriving, but he's been able to establish great connections and relationships in the industry when it comes to the licensing, and he has a lot of experience now that he's taking the leap. And it's not an easy leap right now, but we've been talking through that. And it's just essentially these guys betting on themselves and, yes, hoping for the best, but also putting in the action to make sure that it's the best outcome for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's there's points like inflection points in your career, in your life, and I always came from the school of thought of like I would regret not taking swings.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd much rather strike out at the plate than be sitting there looking and strike out. I'd much rather be like, I gave it a good swing. It didn't work. Good story.
And if I connected, I would have hit a home run. I swear I would have hit a home run.
Listen, it's like at the end of the day, if you're hitting a home run, it's people forget.
Yep.
So you gotta mentally, it's tough because sometimes you feel very alone when you bet on yourself because it's like, oh damn, what did I do? There's a lot going on. How am I going to figure this out? But again, you just take it step by step. You just chip away at it, and in 5 years, you'll look back and be like, it's the best thing I ever did.
Yeah. Also, I think one of the major things when it comes to betting on yourself is being able to really look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't think the truth at that point when you bet on yourself can lie to you anymore. It's almost easy when you are
you get exposed.
Yeah, like if you're a 9-to-5 worker and you get a salary every week like we do, like we can kind of fake it at times, whereas there's been times in my past that like when I made that financial investment or I bought, my house, the truth is right in the pudding, so you have to really look in the mirror and say, okay, well, now that I've taken this leap, what are the action steps that I need to take to start getting back on my feet? And if you are exposed, in a certain area, what are you going to do in business to make sure that you're no longer exposed, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a very it's an important time to be able to say, if you do take a leap of any sort of faith, to make sure that you're looking back at your skill set and you're able to really diagnose your own reality. A lot of people, even when it comes to the gym, like, I go to the gym 4 times a week, like 5 times a week. Why am I not getting results? Well, look in the mirror. Why aren't you getting the results, right? Like you're not making the good decisions when you're going out. You're drinking too much. You're sacrificing certain things. And the gym is always an easy example
it's good though
to give. But I think looking in the mirror is very important, even in relationships, right? Like, are you what are you allowing in your relationships, right? Like whether it's a boyfriend, a girlfriend, a wife, a husband, father, mother, or an employee, we get to a point that we allow things, right? And then that becomes our norm. So we have to look in the mirror and say, well, what is it that we're allowing? What do we want to change moving forward?
Beautiful. The thing that I'm struggling with recently is when you do make the decision, right? Whatever facet it is, accelerating through the decision and not like.
What does that mean?
Like, so once you make a decision, you got to go. Right? Like you got to take whatever decision it is and get momentum. For example, when I left my sales job to get my real estate license, I was like, all right, I could stay at this job and kind of milk it while I figure it out, but I got to take this momentum and see if I'm going to sink or swim. Right? So I jumped out of that and got a job in real estate right away before I got my license, which was fast.
Right.
I don't recommend it, but for me, kind of accelerating through gives you an actual shot. Sometimes, like if you ever try to change a lane in traffic, you wait a split second, you can't get in. There's just cars passing you, and it's just not. Versus if you just, all right, I'm going to change it, and you accelerate through, you skip that person, you're off.
You're spot on, and I love what you're saying. But now I have a question. I don't know if you can answer it. Right? For somebody who hasn't ever done that before, how do you take the first leap? Like, what do? You just go? Like, because the traffic is a perfect example, right? Like that is a time everybody has been there. Like, you look in the mirror, you hesitate, now you missed it. Now there's tractor trailers. Now it's 7 minutes before you're getting into that lane.
But you're going to have to get the momentum again.
Right, correct. Whereas like I think everybody has also been there, like you're like, oh, I got a little time, step on the gas and get into the lane, right? Yeah. So now how do you apply that to life for the very first time?
What's the first action that gets you the biggest return on it, right? So like, I'm trying to give a good example. You want to start a new business. And you're like, I'm fired up to start this new business. What's the first thing we did? Instagram account.
I just put it out there.
Right? And it's
like,
free.
Yeah,
it's like, all right, well, there's no, stuff for that.
And it was that and reaching out to
people. So like, what's the first thing you can do that is going to at least get you to the next step? Licensing, right? A lot of times there's new endeavors that require a license. Equipment. Big thing for me is like, all right, I want to start running, got to get a treadmill. So like, I can't run. I could run and go outside, but for me, I'm like, I would love a treadmill. And here's to the next point. What I've been struggling with lately is as your business grows, you spend more money and not using your previous budget to impact how you spend and being confident that, all right, well, if I put in $1, I've been getting 2 out. I got to put in $10 and try to get 20 out.
Right.
Like that is very hard for me to like scale up because I'm always very lean and I have so many. We doing our renovations and personal investments have so many expenses that are coming into the pipeline.
Yep.
But I'm also trying to accelerate the real estate business. So you get this like you can't let your personal cash influence your business cash, even though they overlap.
Yep.
And then on top of it, I have investments that I'm investing in that I'm doing daily and my money's dropping, but I'm like, I got to stick to the plan. That discipline within your actions is very hard. And then the next level is when you're going and trying to take down a commercial building. Do you know anyone who owns commercial buildings?
Yes, I do.
Like in your family or like close friends?
Close,
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
See, that's awesome. I don't.
Well, I was telling you, my mentor, John.
Yeah, but that's like a friend, right?
Yeah.
But
correct.
my point is like when you talk to your friends and family about it, like no one owns a commercial building.
Right.
So that's hard because then you're trying to like, you're talking about your goal or what you're going to do and no one really connects. So then you kind of put yourself on an island and it gets very like, you gotta trust yourself because not that people will discourage you, but they won't be able to encourage you because they don't have anything to pull from, right? They're not going to be like, oh, I own a building. Yeah. Unless you get like, that's why mentors are important. Yeah, but you're just casually talking to people and you're like, oh, I'm going to buy a building. Like that's the next. Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Interesting. How you can do that? Aren't they expensive?
Right.
Like,
Aren't they expensive?
Right? Like even when we were bullshitting, you're like, yeah, garage is expensive. Like, it's not that people are trying to discourage you. They're just in their brain.
Yeah.
They're like, that's a lot. But in reality, it's like, it's not terrible.
Right.
I mean, you're buying.
And it depends what you want. And it depends on the location.
That whole like leveling up, you're required to bet on yourself to level up in whatever you're doing, whether it's family, business, fate, whatever it is. There's some type of investment, whether it's time, skill set. There's something you have to sacrifice. And if you don't have confidence that you're going to give it a big swing, I think I'm more at ease when I'm like, I might fail miserably, but I'm going to try.
Yep.
When you give yourself the ability to maybe fail, but if you tell yourself, like, if I give a big swing and I strike out, at least I gave a big swing.
Yeah.
And I can look myself in the mirror and be like, listen, we took a swing.
Yep.
Versus you're hesitant. You're like, I don't know if I want to do that. This, that. And then all of a sudden, 2 days down the road, you fail. Then you're like, I should have done this. I should. Right. Versus like, take that swing.
Yeah. And then I guess, so that makes me think of a quote, and it says, when you don't know what to work on yourself.
That's a good one.
Right? Because there's been so many times, I mean, even the personal things that we've spoke about here in terms of like, potentials for the future, right? What we were talking about a couple of weeks ago. It's great to have the idea, but now what are the little things, like Mike was saying, right? What are the little things that you can be working on in the background versus I think a lot of people look back and they're like, oh, 5 years ago, I had this idea and you never did anything to even move towards it. So we're not saying just up and leave everything, but if you get a little confused, I think that's normal, but take the time to work on yourself a little bit in that aspect, right? That's always better than nothing.
Yeah.
And I guess I want to ask you this too, in terms, because you, as an entrepreneur, right? I've done certain things, even with this podcast here, that we definitely do things on our own. But you certainly do a lot more when it comes to business as an entrepreneur on your own. And I always hear that entrepreneurship is lonely. I feel it myself sometimes, right? But you being in it day to day, you said, yes, you have to be able to develop confidence. What's one more thing that you think for entrepreneurs that are feeling lonely that could be helpful for them?
I mean, that's a good question. I'm trying to think what I do day to day. I try to stay connected to people.
Oh, that's a good one.
But not within the business world, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's great to talk to people in the business world and stay connected, but just like family and friends, like, because then you
So
feel
don't
less
isolate.
lonely.
Right.
Yeah,
Don't
don't
isolate,
isolate,
right.
because it's easy to isolate.
Yeah.
Because you get into the work and you're like, I have so much to do, I don't want to talk.
And nobody understands. You don't
get
know the hustle.
woe is me, and like, oh, I'm so tired, I can't go out to like my friend's birthday. When in reality, it's like that's what keeps you, like, that's why you're working so hard, is so you can go with your kids to the beach, so you can, that, like, keeping the frame of mind of like, why do you work so hard? Well, so I can provide for my family. And then you're like, well, then why would I skip a day with the family, right? So
that's
like,
very good balance.
in your head, it's logic though. People are like, oh, I'm trying to grind for them, but ultimately it's like they're here now, so just make time, right?
That's very good.
I caught myself a couple times doing that. So stay connected. I like to stay connected with like on YouTube with all the people that I am aspiring to be like. So I pick out a couple names and I'm modeling what I do after them.
Right.
So this Matt Onofrio guy, and it changes, right? Like during different phases, I was targeting different people. And like this Matt Onofrio guy and this guy, Tim Bratz, both are in commercial.
Yeah.
They're not so young, but they're building out businesses that I'm like, I want to kind of emulate what they're doing. And I actually give more credibility, or not credibility, but if their life seems similar, like if I'm like, oh, they have a wife, like they're in a luxury market, like if I can connect with these people, that's who I try to listen to often. And I try to take a lot of action. So when I'm like alone and I have all this work to do and I'm like, all right, I gotta get going. I just have no momentum today. I'm like, all right, let me go out. Let me see some properties. Let me get excited again. And then I'll come back to the office and I'll knock out everything. So that's as little as seeing a commercial property that I can't afford yet, but I'm going to look for my investors. That's going to make, I could do this. Like I met the other agent, nice guy, but he's no different than me. Like they're just normal people.
Yeah.
So like recentering yourself constantly is a thing I do a lot. Do you ever do that?
Yeah, that's a good skill. So I don't do it in that aspect, but in terms of the taking action, I get very overwhelmed, just like everybody else in life, right? Yeah. Like got a lot of stuff going on personally I can't really discuss here, but there's times and seasons of your life that you go through like hard shit. Yeah. Right? And it just is what it is. But always what I've leaned on now, and I guess, through time, I feel that like, yes, I am unstoppable for myself. The only person that can stop me is me. I have that on my work phone. You are your only limit. But I do have the discipline now and the structure in my life to be able to say, fuck whatever's going on, as bad as it is, as bad as things may seem, it doesn't matter. This is what I have to get done. And I'm going to at least take action on the first thing that I have to do. Even in parenting, right? Like parenting is not easy at all. But you have a choice, right? Are you just going to, go through the motions and then forget about yourself? Because that's very easy to do too. Or are you going to add, a little self-care to that list and make sure that you got to feed the baby. You got to change the baby. You got to give the baby a bath. And, you want to get outside. But there's ways that you can be disciplined in your life. And I feel like everybody has that skill. They just haven't explored the skill of discipline. But I like what you're saying. It's different than what I do because I just kind of go through it. Whereas you're saying like get re-excited about the thing that's inspiring you.
For example, right? We're trying to like stay pretty lean and save money. But at the same time, I'm like, me and Dana don't get opportunities to go out on dates. So like it's Wednesday. I'm exhausted. I really don't want to go out. But then I'm like, what's the whole point? Like, if we're not going to go out on a Wednesday and like reconnect and enjoy, and it could be going out with a friend, like anything. You know how you talk yourself out of doing things?
Yes.
And you have to. You can't do everything. But I have certain relationships in my life where if people call and want to get together, I make time. There's other ones that it's like, if I'm available, we'll do it.
Right.
And a lot of people won't take offense to that because I'm pretty blatant about it. But I've been fortunate where I have a small group of friends that I feel are way closer than like acquaintances,
Right.
that I'll drop everything and make time.
Yeah.
So that like that little thing there, like going out tonight and just going to the bar, having a bite and talking, having a drink. Although, yes, I could be knocking out work during that. Mentally, it like gives me a little shower.
Mm-hmm.
It gives me a mental workout so that I can then be motivated and excited to go do it again. Because we talk about a lot of stuff like, you know, if you have close friends, if you're not married, if you have close friends, if you have a business partner, like kind of talking and not being structured and just kind of brainstorming and talking about the potential in the future gives you that excitement again, and it re-inspires you, and it's a constant battle.
Yep.
So that's what I've been trying to do lately is like, just because you have all these new endeavors and you have all this stuff going on, you can't just cut out certain things that are very important, because the only way you're going to survive it is to keep those in there and just be more efficient in the other places.
Yeah.
And cut out other junk.
Yep.
Like that's top of priority. If I can't do that and I'm too stressed, then I got to cut some other stuff out.
Question: Are you going to eat pizza with your wife tonight?
No.
Actually, no.
You know what? Actually, we might have to get a slice in so we can finish September. So we actually might, now that you said that, which scares me.
That is so good.
But I have lunch at Dough Girls. After this, I'm going to have a slice.
Dough Girls?
Dough Girls Pizza. Best pizza truck. Their pizza is unbelievable. The little style, like the Fortina style.
Yep.
She's from New Haven. She's from New Haven. Tremendous. Shout out Louise, the best.
Shout out Louise.
I called her randomly. Remember when I sent that?
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
She was available. She was like, Mike, you're like me. You didn't call me. I'm like, I'm sorry. She's like, I got you.
That's awesome.
But what I've been doing lately, just my last note, is I've simplified it very simply to like, I trust my gut, and when given the opportunity, bet on yourself. Those are my two things I've been doing lately. And the reason I'm so confident doing those is because in the past they've worked. They weren't the easy choice.
Right.
They've been a lot harder than other ways. But for example, with my company, like there was an opportunity to be a part of teams in my company and, you know, the company I'm at. And I could have leaned into being the assistant and leaned into being kind of number two.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? There's a saying, be the bird that bets on the wings, or be the bird that relies on the wings versus the branch. And in my head, I'm like, what if these people leave you know, the industry? What am I going to do? So I peeled back and I really focused on learning and doing more independent deals. And it's put me in a position where I'm way more confident that I can provide for my family because I'm not asking anyone to give me business. I'm going out and making it happen.
Right.
So that's an example. Like I'm in a company, but I'm being very strategic on how I'm approaching it, so that I am more confident and more prepared if there's a change.
Right. I think you're explaining how you're being strategic, but also aggressive in a lane in case, you know, and not aggressive in a bad way, but I'm just saying aggressive and taking action just in case, you know, you are the bird that falls off and you need to rely on the heart or whatever.
Yeah, and I'm not saying like mentorship's fine and like that's great, but at some point you have to assume, this is terrible to say, you have to assume everyone disappears.
Right.
And it's like, all right, worst case scenario, everything disappears. Can I survive? And if the answer is no, you got to work on stuff.
Right.
If the answer is yes, then do what you do and just keep growing on that side.
I love it.
As long as it's not a fish that climbs up a tree, we're good.
The fish
that climbs up a tree.
The fish that climbs a tree.
But I forgot what the saying is. But do you get the visual?
Yes, absolutely.
Because the branch breaks. It's like, you're dead.
You're dead. No, good stuff, man. Always good to connect. CV, you got anything, any final thoughts? Shaking no. So this will bring us to my favorite section, Dave's Dime of the Week.
Dimes.
It's been a minute since Mike has backed up my dimes, right?
I felt good today.
Yeah. This one is very simple, and I know Michael loves simple. And make sure I get it.
You call me simple.
Get it right here. And it goes for everything in life. You cannot conquer what you do not confront. And I love that saying because I feel in life, even for myself, right? I've always known these certain things. I know the right decision to make, or I know I should be taking this action, but I almost do what you were saying before, and like I go the other way, or like I just kind of ignore it, you know, like it's like, oh, my gut maybe at one point told me not to, but it really wasn't my gut. It was just my safety instinct in my head, so I chose not to confront it. And if you don't confront something, that's always step one, but without confronting it, you can never conquer it. That's in anything in life.
Pretty good. Not
Pretty
bad.
good.
What measures? Was it? You can't manage what's not measured, or whatever?
Yes,
Similar.
yes.
It's a good one.
Not bad, right?
Not bad. Simple. Simple Dave over here.
That's it, right? Hey,
Simple.
and by the way, I heard the shit you were talking on that episode that you dropped.
Which
one? Where you called me like 27-step Dave or something, and you're talking to CV.
That was good drop.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
How many steps?
Yeah, a lot. It was like 9 steps today.
I'm known for the steps.
9-step Dave. I am 10-page Dave. I could be 10-step Dave. That's what I should be.
I want to apologize for the 10 pages. It's good. It's good to keep up 10 pages a day. I mean, it's respectable. You know?
I remember. So full transparency, right? Like when we first started out the podcast, and like Mike was trying to convert over to a lifestyle that, you know, was inclusive of consistent fitness, right?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Still trying.
And he's like, yeah, but what do you do? What do you do that's hard? And I'm like, well, I read 10 pages a day. And then CV and Mike, the two of them, were like, dude, that's the easiest thing in the world. And I'm like, but try it. Like, really try it. Because it's not that easy. Like, there's so much shit going on in your life. They're like, the last thing that I want to do is fucking read 10 pages of this dumbass book. But guys, always a pleasure. Thank you guys for supporting what we do. You can cop some the merch back here at, what's the website, Michael?
NoSnoozeShop.com.
Beautiful. And until next time, stop snoozing.
Get up and get after it.
We got that right. And bet on yourself.
Like, subscribe, give us a shout out.
That's another Effie in the books. Go follow us on Instagram and Facebook at No Snooze Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, No Snooze.